Hello twin flames, this is Victoria and I'm here with your daily energy check. Welcome to my channel, welcome to this new day. Let's see what's going on with those twins. I will start with Oracle deck as always, and today I've got the Happy Birthday Spirit Junkie deck. This is a deck of affirmations, so let's see what kind of, oh that was fast, what kind of helpful affirmations can we use today for our highest good, for our benefit, to bring in more love and balance into our life. Just let me get those. Got something for doing feminines already. By the way, tomorrow the new episode of Mindfully Awake is coming out, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will share more details about the show today or tomorrow morning. We'll see. I need to do a little more planning in terms of, you know, the topics that I'm covering. So especially since I'm gonna be traveling, so still need to make a couple of decisions, but I'll let you guys know. Okay, so card number one for feminines. My friendships support me, nourish me, and inspire me. Very important that your friendships do that for you. If there is something else there, that's a question. I'm not saying break up with that friend right away and, you know, remove their phone number, but you know, and obviously there are exceptions when people are going through crisis, something is happening, but it shouldn't be a constant thing. Like, it can be like our friendship is them being in crisis and me helping out all the time. Trust me, I've had those. No, that's not friendship. Friendship is still supposed to be a balanced relationship with reciprocity, with give and take. And not to mention that if person is going through something, that you should know what's going on. Like, at least you know, like, the details, you know, the time and things like that. It's also true that sometimes people don't recover after some difficult events, right? And it's just not a matter of, yeah, another month or something. It changes them, and not always in a good way. I mean, it's just a reality, it happens. So for you, it's still important, as much as you want to help those people in need, it's important to protect the sanctity of your energy. And we spoke about that in yesterday's reading, actually. So you may want to go back and watch that. But key idea is that your friendships, and you can go over your closest friendships at least. Hopefully that should be relatively easy to do. They should support you, nourish you, and inspire you. The second point here, it's safe to ask for help. People want to support me. See, both of them are about nurture and support. So another message here, if you feel like you need that nurture or support right now, turn to a good friend. That's what they're for, right? Not just for you to help them, but also for them to be able to help you when you're in need. Make sure it's known that they don't need to read your mind. You know, they understand and they can be there for you. Someone you can confide in. What do we have for the masculines today? Very tender energy, and there is a star actually in both of them. So to me, there is a big potential of healing during this time. What do we have with the masculines? What do masculines need to know? I'll just pull one out. Wow, the difficult relationships in my life, you get this thing, are the perfect mirror for me to look more closely at my own behavior. Yeah, that's not decided, but I would just say, just to everyone, not just to masculines, be very careful with that. Because that could also get you in a trap position where you would be feeling like, oh, yeah, like the mirror exercise, right? Like, this is a mirror of what I am. Yes, to an extent, but you know, sometimes people are just being unreasonable. And yeah, I mean, of course you can draw a connection of like, yeah, and I'm attracting unreasonable people because X, Y, Z, right? And that's a good point, but it doesn't, first of all, doesn't mean that you need to stay there. You know, you got the message. It's like, okay, there's something unhealthy here. That's not working for me. Step number one, regardless, right? And then you can think about, what was it supposed to show me, right? Like, why am I attracting people like that? Like, all these things. You don't need to stay in that. And secondly, there will always be people who want to pull on your energy. and oftentimes not in a healthy way. And that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It means you're a light worker, you have a lot of energy to give, a lot of good high vibrational energy to give, and people get attracted to that. As simple as that. It's just that when you are in a balanced high vibe state yourself, you usually can sense that. But there is a bit of a learning curve for anyone new to this, to be able to tell and build that boundary in time, not to get affected. So mirror is great, but don't let it continue damaging your energy field. Okay, we'll take this one. Let's see what we have as the reading. I've got the Sophia Charles deck with me today. I don't use it very often, but I didn't remember actually today when I was doing pre-shuffle that this is the most expensive deck that I own. I paid like 200 something pounds for it. Imagine that. It's like 10 decks. But yeah, I was absorbed into that at that moment. So yeah, I was ready to pay admission. So this is Three of Pentacles actually. In this deck, Sophia has some of the cards named, you know, in specific ways. Not that one. This one for the clarifications. So yeah, definitely a topic of mission is raised. This is Virgo energy. The healer, the teacher. You may be seeing new opportunities for that. This is for both twins, obviously. Page of Wands, yes, opportunities, excitement, wanting to grow something. You see, there are green branches, green leaves on this wand. It's alive. It's like, yeah, I can actually build on this. I can develop this into something useful, exciting, whatever. So feminines. You got the Strengths, which is Nine of Wands, clarified by the Hierophant. Yeah, so feminines are looking at or revisiting at the way that they present themselves as a figure of authority, as the leader in their society, in their community, right? And they understand that they need to come to people out of place of strength and balance. Fear is not, well, it's not that it's impermissible. If you think that, please work on that part. That's the flag for you. But it's like you can't really preach or you can't really help much out of place of fear, because then your perception will be distorted, right? So this is getting into the more empowered place where you can see clearly yourself and you can speak to others out of the place of clarity. And what's going on with energies at large, what's happening with the collective, and what's happening with that particular person you're talking to, right? You see the Hierophant preaching here to people, right? Like people will listen, and that's a big power to deal with, you know, that they will pay attention to what you're saying. So you better be confident about those things you're speaking about. For masculines, we have 10 of Wands, I think. Yes, that was 9. This is 10 of Wands. And 8 of Wands. Look at all these wands. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of this fiery, raging energy that I'm feeling with masculines. Like, you know, like the energy of despair, anger, those kind of things. But like energetically, they're pretty close. So it's like they're kind of like going from one into another and changing back and forth. But it's not great. It's like the masculine is like, it seems like everyone's out to get me. It seems like everything's falling apart, that kind of idea. And that's also the mirror, like, of if that's the self-talk that they have, that's the communication that they're getting from the universe, right? So it feels like, and I'm getting this one, so like coming at a person, you know, that the communication is only making it worse. So you may want to distance yourself at this time, Divine Masculines, but just know that this is, well, first of all, this is gonna pass. This is part of that transformation, of that transmutation, if you wish, right? And of course, you know, you already have a card about looking at your own behavior. So I would just say, first of all, get yourself to a place of safety and grounded energy. But then if you are angry, if you're enraged, if you're furious about somebody else's doings, just remember about that mirror card, and not to blame yourself, but to understand that you can change the situation by making changes within your own right, with your mindset, with the choices you make, with your behavior. And like 9 out of 10, if you aren't happy about somebody doing something to you, you are doing that. For twins, it's like exaggerated times and times. That's how we get those lessons. That's how it's supposed to hit us. So we stop doing this BS. And again, I'm not blaming, like, we're all people, right? We all got ego, we all got our patterns. But that's that clue hanging like into your face, like right in front of you. That's something to look at for yourself and work on in your own right. And that's how you change things around. And hopefully get out of the victim mentality. Additional question, we have 5 of Wands, clarified by the Fool. Look at all these wands today, crazy, wow. Yeah, this is wanting to break free from societal limitations, norms, and expectations. What does it mean for feminine specifically? 2 of Swords, clarified by King of Cups. We saw this yesterday, actually, it's interesting. Being able to share your emotions and feelings freely. Right? Feminines would love to be able to not really think like, is that person gonna take advantage of me if I share too much? Or, you know, I can't really build anything in the physical just based on feelings and emotions. Like, there are all these misconceptions that a lot of times are preventing us from making the right choices, from getting into that place of freedom, personal freedom. For masculines, we have the Moon and the Strength again. Oh, actually, that Strength was for the feminine. That's interesting. But these are both major arcanas. Just the Strength. The Moon. Yeah, very interesting energies. This is masculine, this is feminine. Like, this is the sun, essentially. This is the moon. Yeah, what I'm getting for the masculines is that they want to be able to tune into or tap into both their masculine and their feminine side, right? To not have to comply with certain norms of what they're supposed to behave like, what they can and cannot do because they're masculine, right? To even feel masculine, right? So a lot of times, obviously, it goes into much deeper space where no one really cares at the end of the day. And I mean, a bit, especially these days, right? Like, a lot of our behaviors are driven, or expectations are driven by gender identity. And, you know, we have all kinds of spectrum, like all kinds of representatives along the spectrum of gender identity. So, you know, people are so much more used to not having those tags, those labels. But we do have them ourselves, especially if we were brought up in that kind of society, right? So there's something here about expressing both. I'm getting, for some of you, it's for masculine energy that's represented by feminine gender, you know, like a woman, but the masculine energy. And this is the desire to still be able to show the feminine side, but also the masculine, both. How the feminine see in the connection at this time? 4 of Pentacles, clarified by 7 of Wands. Very closed off energy, kind of defensive, kind of like, I'm just gonna keep it to myself for now. My truth, my feelings, my business. Yeah, kind of tense, but I feel like it's a self-preservation technique, especially because we were talking about those boundaries and strengths. Wow, for masculines, we have 4 of Wands, clarified by the World. So they know where their world is. This is their world. This is their idea of their world. Wow, this is huge. Yeah, they know that the walls are getting closer, you know, like in that scene where you would see like the walls actually like eventually just closing off. and whoever is inside is just gonna die. Like they are feeling the walls closing. That's the image I'm getting. Like they're trying to find excuses to get out of it, or not to think like this is important, or to be focusing on something else, and it's just not working. The walls keep closing, and it's like, or it's like a dead wall, dead end, where they're trying to go somewhere else. And I can only see the light, the hope, the inspiration when they're walking towards this. Beautiful, love it. On that note, definitely ended on an optimistic note today. I'm gonna leave you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you all, and I'll be back with more readings very, very soon.